What's up everyone, it's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I'm here with a video that's kind of been half on my mind for about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks now. We all remember a little over 3 weeks ago that Nintendo held another Nintendo Direct, and in that Nintendo Direct they announced that they'd be adding Super Nintendo games to the Virtual Console on the 3DS and the 3DS XL. Now that was only if you had the new 3DS or the new 3DS XL, not the regular 3DS or the regular 3DS XL. So, yeah, I know that's such a mouthful to say. So, being the guy that I am, I naturally have a Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate new 3DS XL. Jesus, that's even more of a mouthful to say. So, when I saw the announcement, I was absolutely loving it, and I couldn't wait. And then they announced that there would be 2 games released directly after Nintendo Direct. Now, I know in America they got 3 games, and it varied a little bit differently on how the games were released, what games were released, etc., etc. So I'm going by the European one, naturally, because, yeah, I live in Europe. So the way they did it for Europe, anyway, was Nintendo released the first 2 games that night, which were Super Mario World and Earthbound, and naturally they had an offer where if you buy one within the first week, you get the other one half price. So naturally, I bought Super Mario World and got Earthbound half price. It's kind of weird that they didn't do cheapest one free kind of thing, but then again, they couldn't in case you bought the other one, the cheap one first, which is basically what I did. And then a week later, they released, oh god, what were the games? No, it wasn't Super Mario Kart. Oh, Link to the Past. And, God, what was the other one? Link to the Past and F-Zero, I think it was. Crap, I can't remember. I only downloaded some of these like 2 days ago, and I've already forgotten. And then in the third week, which is just 2 days ago, they released, I want to say Super Mario Kart and Super Metroid, or maybe it was Super Metroid. Oh no, last week it was Super Metroid and, God, I'm already after forgetting. Wow, I'm awful at this. Last week, anyway, it was Super Metroid and Mario Kart. And, no, it wasn't Mario Kart. God, I'm just, right, forget it. Anyway, they released all these games. They released all of those ones. And then, as of the last 2 days, and naturally I've been playing a bunch of Super Metroid on the 3DS. I know I have it on the Wii U and all the other stuff as well, but the fact is I'm playing on the 3DS because I have that one. And not to mention the Wii U one is the crappy European card port, which is awful. So, yeah, 50 hertz and, God, what was it? 50 hertz and crappy subtitles that you can't turn off, only change. For those people out there who don't know, by the way, if you're playing the Super Nintendo version of Super Metroid, what did I say? Super Nintendo version. Either way, if you're playing it on the Wii U from the European Wii U store, you actually have the shitty port from somewhere in Europe, and the reason for that is it has forced subtitles. Now, you can't turn these subtitles off. There's no way to turn these off. There's no way to put them in English, because obviously the game is default in English with the in-game text, over here at least. But it has forced subtitles that go over them, and you can't turn them off. The only thing you can do is choose if they're going to be in, I believe it's German or Spanish. Might have been French or German. But either way, you have to play with those on, and it goes over some of the actual English text in-game, so you can't actually read it. It's really annoying, and it's a load of bollocks. But anyway, the ones on the 3DS Virtual Console, or the new 3DS Virtual Console, I should say, they're even for Europe, they're all the American versions, so they are 60 hertz, and they aren't the crappy, they don't suffer from the crappy certain ports and certain bad choices that Nintendo have made. So, for example, on Super Metroid on the 3DS, you have the choice of subtitles on or off, or you can do subtitles, or not so much subtitles, but you can do in-game text, Japanese or English. And naturally, if it's English, it just uses the regular ones. There's no subtitles. I haven't tried the Japanese one. I'd assume it's probably subtitles instead of just being the in-game text. But either way, I'm getting off topic. Now, so having said all of that, okay, so bearing in mind that Nintendo over the last 3 weeks over here have launched 6 Virtual Console games with Super Nintendo ones, and next week they're going to be releasing Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2. So, begging all that and spending all the money on them as I do and all, it got me a little bit thinking. And that made me think, how much money have I spent over the years rebuying games I already own on something else? Now, I say that not in the sense that, oh, I'm up in a retro shop or I'm looking online or something like that, and it's like, oh, there's a game I don't have, I'd like to buy that, even though it's mad old school or whatever. I'm not including games like that. I'm including things like, say, naturally, I have Final Fantasy VII on the PS1. I've had it since almost its release day. I got it a couple of weeks after because I didn't actually have a PS1 at the time. I got it like 3 weeks later, and Final Fantasy VII was one of my first games. So I have Final Fantasy VII. Now, having said that, I did lose my Black Label copy, technically, and I replaced it with a Platinum one at the time, but that's beside the point, because that happened almost instantly after I lost it. But essentially, to me, I've had Final Fantasy VII from almost release. So, a perfect example is, I also have Final Fantasy VII on the PC, on Steam. I have Final Fantasy VII on the PS4. So, right there, that's two sets of, or two, whatever we call them. I think they're like €15 pop. That's 2 goes of €15 for one game, not including my original one or the replacement at the time. But that's straight up about €30. And you cross that with how many games? I mean, my Virtual Console on my Wii and my Virtual Console on my Wii U are ridiculous. I have too many. I should just mod my Wii or my Wii U, whichever. I can do both. Well, I don't know if I can mod my Wii U. I can mod my Wii, but either way, I should really just mod my Wii and just download all the ROMs and all that, because I know you can download the ISOs for games and you can download the ROMs for the Virtual Console games and all, and just run emulators and stuff on them. That's beside the point. I'm a collector. You probably see my Twitter series at this point where I'm posting all the crazy shit of all the games and all that. Like 1 game a day at minimum every year, or 1 game per day minimum for at least every day for a year. But yeah, that's beside the point. So I'm a collector. I like that kind of stuff, and usually it's to do with games that mean enough, that actually want me to, that I love them so much that makes me want to rebuy them. So I'll be able to have easy, quick access to them on whatever platform or something like that. I don't know. It's strange. I mean, when you think about it, like I have Sonic the Hedgehog. I have Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3 from back in the day, or well, at least relatively. I won't say relatively recently, but I have cartridges from Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3. Actually, I have several of them, but that's the point. It's beside the point, I should say. God, I feel like I can't talk. I haven't made consistent videos in a while, so it's really weird to do again. But the fact is, I have those. I have the Sonic games all on my Wii. I have the Sonic games all on the 360. I don't think they're on the Wii U. I can't remember. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're not on the Wii U. But you get the idea. I mean, that's extra money every time on top of all that stuff. There's Game Boy Color games, Game Boy Advance games, not even Game Boy, DS games. So many other games. There's games on the 3DS Virtual Console. There's games from all the other platforms on the Virtual Console. There's obviously the Pokemon games there. Some of the others, say there's some of the GBA games, the Fire Emblem games, all them. Advance Wars, whatever you have it, be it on the Wii U or the old Wii Virtual Console. I know I still have access to that. I should really check it. But it's not only that. There's so many of them. It's so weird. It's not just Nintendo stuff either. I mean, you buy some of them on, say, the Xbox 360. You buy some of them on... Hell, you can even buy some of them on the Xbox One and not so much the PS4. Although, I will give the PS4 a little bit of credit simply because Final Fantasy VII is on there. And I have that based on the same... It fits into the same principle that we're talking about now. But, I mean, you look at some of the other ones. On my PS3, I have so many downloaded old PS1 games. Almost all of them I actually already own on actual discs and still work. With the exception of my Grandia copy. That can be hit or miss. But I've so many of them that actually I still own and that still work and all that. And I'm still rebuying them on there. The PSP, the same deal. I already have the UMD copy of Breath of Fire 3. I obviously have the PS1 version as well. But that's beside the point. The main thing is that when that was added to the European PSN, they added the PSP version several years ago. Despite what many people will tell you, it did get I won't say re-released, but it did release a couple of months back. But for some reason, everyone neglected to mention that that was only the US version. There's even places in Ireland just reporting on news about it and just saying, "Oh my God, Breath of Fire 3 finally on the PSN." It's like it's been on the European PSN for like 6 years at this point. Everyone forgets to mention that, but you get the idea. I mean, I that's another game I downloaded. I had the UMD version of it. I downloaded the PSP download digital copy, obviously, and that's another one right there. And that's there. I've mentioned a few as it is, and that's only several of many games at this point. So I haven't actually added it up, and I haven't even taken a list or anything like that, because it would be kind of worrying or maybe a bit depressing or something like that. But it just makes me wonder how many games over the sheer period of span of time that I've actually just would fit into my rebought things that I already own and all. Now, it doesn't count, say, if you're buying a PC version of, say, a modern game. I don't know. Let's see what came out. We use The Division, for example. Let's say I was, I didn't buy The Division. I did play it. I got a copy of it from work for a little bit. But let's say I had The Division on PS4, which is what I played it on. If I was to own that game, and then a couple of weeks later I was to buy it on a PC or something like that, I wouldn't count that. Maybe if it was a really old game, like maybe if it was, say, again, I used it earlier in this video as an example, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII is in there as well, upcoming Final Fantasy IX will be there also when that releases. It's old games like that, you get the point. I'm not just doing it for, it's like, oh, that's finally being released on PC, or, the PC version is now out to give you much better graphics options, or much better this, that, or the other. I don't count that. It's all the old ones that really, that rule can be bent a little bit simply because. But yeah, it makes me wonder how many games I've rebought all over that time. And the bigger question that I might eventually work out someday is how much money I've spent on it. It's ridiculous, because I'm sure I'm a dude of excess. I spend a lot of money on stupid shit. Most of the time I don't think it's stupid shit. It's usually good to me. I say stupid in a relative term because if you're not into it and other people have opinions on it, they might see it as stupid shit. I don't think it's stupid shit, but that's just me. So I spend all that kind of money on things that I want, and things that I like, and things that I suppose essentially can give me the fond nostalgic memories and make me all warm, fuzzy and happy inside, if you will. But I can only imagine that it's on the higher end of several €100 at this point. I would be surprised if it hit the 1K mark, but I'm definitely saying it's probably over 600 at this point. And fair enough, that may, spread out over, 10, 12 years maybe at this point. Maybe that's not too bad for some people. It's not too bad for me either, to be honest. I don't think that's excessive. But it's still, at the end of the day, when you look at it, you can almost justify the fact that you didn't need to spend that money simply because it's stuff you probably already have or still own. And yeah, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to go and look for the rest of the day now after, this video is rendering actually once I'm done recording this. I think I'm actually going to go and look and do up a quick list. I'm not going to do a full list. I'm just going to do a quick eyeball and a quick Google foo just to get the average idea on some stuff and just kind of slap it together in my own mind. I might actually tweet it out, and then maybe eventually I'll do a whole full, what would you call it? I don't know, a whole full breakdown of the whole thing, and then that'll probably be a bit depressing anyway. So yeah, that's basically it. Let me know in the comment section below if you have excessively rebought, many games, different versions of games, all that and all as well. And the amount of money you think you've spent on. Do you think you've spent a certain amount? Do you think you've spent not enough? Do you think you spent in around what you qualify as normal? Have you over excessively spent based on what you actually think you got out of it? You let me know all of that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.